Some of the darkest evils don't hide in shadows. They hide in plain sight, behind a smile, behind a handshake, behind a title of respect. In most towns, the sheriff is feared, the preacher is trusted, and the doctor is loved. Because when you're sick, when you're weak, when your life hangs in the balance, the doctor is the one you trust most. He's supposed to heal, to protect, to keep a sacred oath older than any law. Do no harm. But in the small town of Willow Creek, the man they trusted most was the one they should have feared the most. A man who wore the mask of a healer, but carried the heart of a predator. This is the story of how an oath meant to protect became a weapon. Willow Creek was the kind of place people forgot existed. A southern town with fewer than 4,000 souls, tucked between rolling hills and farmland. The kind of place where everyone knew everyone, where gossip spread faster than the wind. At the center of town stood the clinic, and inside it worked Dr. Charles Whitmore. For 4 decades, Doc Whitmore was the town's physician. He delivered babies, stitched up injuries, treated coughs, prescribed medicine. Generations of Willow Creek families owed their health to him. He wasn't just a doctor. He was part of the family. They brought him pies at Christmas, sent him thank you cards, told their children, "Doc Whitmore is the reason this town's still standing." To question him was unthinkable. To accuse him impossible. Because who would dare believe that the man who saved so many was destroying them? The truth began with Sarah. She was 16. She went in for a routine checkup. When she came home, she was pale, shaken, silent. Her mother thought it was nerves, embarrassment, but Sarah wasn't embarrassed. She was broken because Dr. Whitmore hadn't healed her. He had violated her. She tried to tell. She tried to scream. But her mother silenced her with a single sentence. "Don't you dare speak like that about Doc Whitmore. He's a good man. He's been helping this town since before you were born." And just like that, Sarah's voice was gone, buried beneath the weight of a community's blind faith. But Sarah wasn't the first, and she wasn't the last. Over the years, whispers stirred. Girls who came home from appointments in tears. Women who avoided the clinic, even when sick. Whispers of discomfort, fear, violation. But the whispers always died. Because who would believe them? A scared teenager? A shaken woman? Against the town's most beloved man? Whitmore knew this, and he thrived on it. Every smile at church, every prayer over food, every friendly handshake. It wasn't kindness, it was camouflage. And it worked. Then came Emily. She wasn't from Willow Creek. She was a nurse, fresh out of school, new to the clinic. Young, hopeful, eager to serve. Everyone told her how lucky she was. "You'll learn so much from Doc Whitmore," they said. "He's a legend." At first, she believed them. But soon, she noticed things. The way certain girls cried before their appointments. The way Whitmore always dismissed staff during specific exams. And the way his smile, that warm, beloved smile, twisted when no one else was watching. Emily felt it in her gut. Something was wrong. One night, she stayed late to finish paperwork. That's when she heard it. A muffled sob from behind an exam room door. She froze, listened. Then came Whitmore's voice, low, sharp, threatening. Emily pushed open the door, and what she saw changed everything. Whitmore, towering over a young girl, his hand clamped around her wrist, her face wet with tears. Emily shouted. Startled, Whitmore stepped back, and instantly, the mask returned, calm, charming, innocent. The girl bolted out the door. Whitmore smoothed his coat, smiled, and said, "You'll learn, nurse. Some patients need a firm hand." Emily stood frozen, horrified. And that night, she didn't sleep. She knew what she'd witnessed. She knew it was wrong. But what could she do? She was new, young. And Whitmore wasn't just a doctor, he was untouchable. Still, Emily made a choice. She wasn't going to be silent. She began documenting everything. Odd appointments, inconsistent notes, complaints from patients, every detail she could find. She reached out, carefully, to women who'd stopped coming to the clinic. At first, they refused to talk. But slowly, painfully, the stories emerged. And together, They painted a picture too dark to ignore. The same fear, the same shame, the same man, Dr. Charles Whitmore. Emily took her findings to the authorities. But in Willow Creek, the authorities weren't neutral. The sheriff? Whitmore's hunting buddy. The mayor? Whitmore delivered his children. The town council? They saw him as a saint. Her report vanished, her warnings ignored. Soon, whispers spread about her, that she was unstable, vindictive, ungrateful. It was Whitmore's playbook. Discredit the accuser, protect the image, maintain the mask. But this time he underestimated his opponent. Emily wasn't from Willow Creek. She didn't owe the town loyalty. And she wasn't going to stop. She went above their heads. She called state investigators, leaked testimonies, handed over her documentation. For months, she lived under fear, shunned by neighbors, harassed by Whitmore's defenders. But cracks began to show. One victim came forward, then another, until silence was no longer possible, until the truth was undeniable. The arrest was like a thunderclap. On a warm morning, Main Street filled with people as Whitmore was led from his clinic in handcuffs. Some shouted in disbelief, others wept. A few, the bravest few, applauded, because for them, it wasn't tragedy. It was freedom. The trial was brutal. Dozens of women testified, stories spanning decades, tales of betrayal and pain so horrific the jury struggled to hold composure. Whitmore's defense painted him as a saint, claimed the women were lying, accused Emily of fabrication. But the evidence was too strong, the testimonies too consistent. And when the verdict came, it landed like a hammer. Guilty on every count. The man Willow Creek once worshipped was sentenced to life in prison. The town was left reeling. How could they have missed it? How could they have ignored the whispers? How could do no harm have been twisted into decades of devastation? Many told themselves they didn't know, but deep down, they did. They just chose silence. And that silence was the soil where evil grew. Emily left Willow Creek soon after. She didn't stay for recognition. She didn't seek fame. She wanted only one thing: the truth, and justice for the women whose voices had been buried for so long. She got it, but the scars remain for the survivors, for the town, for anyone who once believed that respect guaranteed goodness, because it doesn't. Titles can be masks, and sometimes the person you trust most is the one you should fear most. The oath says, "Do no harm." But Charles Whitmore twisted it, used it as a weapon, and in the end, it destroyed him. Justice was served. But the lesson lingers. Evil doesn't always come with a warning. Sometimes it comes with a smile.